Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Texas Road. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Tell us where you're checking in from this morning, what you're drinking, get your questions in. We're going to get to those here in a little bit. We are also 39 days away from kickoff, so tell us who your favorite 39 is. I think this one is going to be kind of obvious, but we'll come back to that one here in just a little bit. But first, guys, I know we normally open with football. Today, we're going to switch it up a little bit because we have Texas women's basketball head coach Vic Schaefer joining us. Coach Schaefer, good morning to you.
Morning, men. How we doing? It's a great day to be a Longhorn, man.
I'm great, Coach. I was thinking about you last night. I was sitting there watching Shark Week. Are you a Shark Week guy on Discovery? I figure you might be.
All right, listen. I took my team down to Port O'Connor, and I had 4 of my guide buddies take them out. We cleaned 42 speckled trout, 7 gaff top that I would never put inside my boat, but we cleaned them. You can eat them. They're just slimy to clean. And I cleaned 2 sharks.
Woo!
And, man, we fried them up on that Sunday night, and they were good. I mean, it's hard to beat fish that's swimming in the bay 6 hours ago or 7 or 8 hours ago. And so I think they had a lot of fun. I know this. Those 4 guides had a blast. They absolutely loved taking our kids out. And, it was a chance for them to kind of see what my passion, another one of my passions besides basketball is. And we did some team bonding stuff Sunday night before we had dinner. So it was really cool.
Coach,
the answer is, listen, I've never had a shark encounter.
Okay.
We wade fish. They didn't get in the water, but I wade fish. When I'm down on the coast, wherever we go, we bail out and wade. Okay. I've never really had an issue with a shark until this year.
Oh.
And one evening it slicked off, and it was every cast, man. Topwater bite was on. Nice 18, 19. Some were over 20 in speckled trout. And I was out there by myself having a blast. The porpoises were really bad. And that's a good thing because they keep the sharks away.
Right.
But those porpoises will come eat that trout off your lure if you don't get it in fast enough. And so I had my bag, which has a shark band on it. And I had just put a $75 magnet, that's a shark magnet, inside my bag. Hanging inside my bag where my fish were. And I was walking this way, and all of a sudden that shark hit me from behind, grabbed my bag. And when he bit down, he bit the rope. I'm not talking about a string. I'm talking about a rope that drags that bag back behind me. He bit it in 2 when he was trying to get in my bag. But he pulled me. I wasn't prepared for him, and he pulled me backwards, and he almost pulled me over.
Oh, no.
And when I turned around, I whacked him with my rod, and my bag was now 10 yards from me, and it's like a toilet bowl wash, And so I walk over there, I get my bag, I tie it back on, I go back to fishing like I've never had an encounter. 5 minutes later, he hit me again.
Oh, wow.
This time when I turned, he almost pulled me down. When I turned around, his head was inside my bag. He had got his head inside that Velcro bag, top of that Velcro, that bag that Velcros together. His head was inside the bag, and 5-6 feet of body was flopping. And I turned around, and I just beat the crap out of him with my $350 rod, not thinking, and finally got him out of my bag. And by the time I got to my bag, I had 1 redfish, I had 2 trout, and one of those trout had been in his mouth because he was slit from shoulder to shoulder.
Oh,
at that point, boys, I'd had enough. I put my bag in my net. I took my net, held it up over my head, and I walked 300 yards back to the boat.
Yeah.
That was enough.
I got to tell you, when I asked that question, I did not expect that answer. So that's a great way to open the show.
There you go. I think it's Shark Week, isn't it?
It is Shark Week officially on OTF.
I would have, Coach, I'll be honest. After the first encounter, I would have been 300 yards.
Everybody I've told
out there
that
for nothing.
Everybody I've told that story to has said the same thing you just said. Here's what's ironic. At the place that I have down there, there's 40 units of condos, and an older gentleman who's retired, he walked over to my place one day and he had his bag in his hand, same kind of bag that I have, and it's got a big old hole in it. He said, "Coach, look what happened to me." He said, and he pulled me over. And he's a little bit of an older gentleman. And I asked him, I said, "Where were you?" And he told me, I go, "That's the same shark. I mean, that dude's in there every time I'm in there."
Dang.
But on the day that I was in there, I didn't see him. Usually you can see them. They're not really interested in you. You know, they're in there eating and feeding just like the other fish. But that shark hit him too, but it pulled him over, and it really scared him.
Yeah. All right, so I guess basketball now, Coach.
Yeah. Welcome to On Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, we're going to ask you, you've had a couple of viewer questions already. So we're going to start with this. I want to get to the first viewer question. How are your freshmen settling in? Because you got that highly ranked number 1, number 2 ranked class. How are those freshmen settling in? What have you seen from them this summer in y'all's allowed workouts?
And they're awesome. And I love them. They are great kids. They work extremely hard. They're attentive and really, really skilled. And, we're committed to them. We didn't really go in the portal and get a whole lot. We're probably going to start a freshman at the 4, and we could potentially have another freshman in the starting lineup somewhere, but all those other kids they're all going to play. And so I really love them, man. They're great kids. Just, going left to right there. Bree Crittenden's the all-time leading scorer in the history of Colorado high school basketball. Amalia right there, second from the left. She's the last Mamba kid.
Yep.
Addison Bjorn, gold medal. She's already won 2 or 3 gold medals with USA basketball. Going to be a monster. Coming off of a little cleanup on her knee, but I'm anxious to see her today. Kind of getting back in and going, can make a full hour workout that we have now. Lizzie right there. Lizzie Spate from Las Vegas, Gatorade Player of the Year. Unbelievable, sees the floor extremely well, competitor. All of these kids are unbelievable competitors. And then you got Issy. Issy's a big physical kid. Her and Crittenden they're going to play the 4 for us. Issy can jump to the 5 a little bit. She might be a little undersized, but she can still get there a little bit. But if she's from Luxembourg, and she's back home right now. We promised her when we signed her, she could go home for a month. So she's been gone for about 3 weeks, but big physical kid. And so I couldn't be more excited about a group of young kids, and they've been great.
Coach, you got this one coming in. We know that you made the run to the Final Four last year and lost a lot, particularly Rory Harmon, for example, Kyle Oldacre. Yep. Do you feel this one comes from Terrence Jones. Do you feel this year's team could be as good or better than last year's team? Maddie Booker in her 4th year, I guess.
Well, certainly I love the team, and I think our potential is off the chart. You know how this goes, guys. A lot of times, sometimes, when you have young kids, what you don't know don't hurt you, and so those kids are just going to come in. Here's the good thing. Not only do we have a great men's practice team that we go against a lot, but early in preseason, I'm talking about before we even get to non-con, in the preseason and exhibition, we're going to go up to Connecticut and play them in an exhibition game. We're going to be down here in Austin and play UCLA in an exhibition game. So those kids will kind of get a baptism early and a feel going against really, really good teams, well coached. And so I think they're going to settle in. And again, these kids are talented, man. We got a lot of weapons, and all of them can really, I think, can really create problems offensively. Then the challenge is, okay, we got to develop some defensive chemistry. I think that's what jumps out at you from last year's team down the stretch is how good we were in the NCAA tournament defensively, holding people to 49 points a game in all 5 games total, averaging 77 points a game. Even with the 43 that we scored in the semifinal game, we still averaged 77 points a game. So we were clicking and playing well. Brea Cunningham's going to be a big key for us. We got to get more than 18, 20 minutes a game from her. We got to get 30 minutes a game from her and keep her out of foul trouble, which I think we can. And so, yeah, I think the potential for this team is unlimited. Again, I'm super excited about these kids. These are all confident kids, man. They're humble. They're grateful. They appreciate what they have here, but man, they are confident.
Coach Maddie Booker, what did she spend the summer doing?
Maddie's kind of been a little bit everywhere. You know, she went to the ESPYs for a couple days. She was at the WNBA All-Star Weekend this past weekend. We've been really trying to just make it real simple for her. Just develop a little bit of consistency with her three-point shot. You know, I'm not a real I don't, to me, your shot starts with your feet. And we've always coached kids like that. And, I think the biggest thing that Madison has been that separates her from everybody else in the country, she is efficient. And when you're efficient, it isn't about how many moves you got or, how many, what variety you have in your bag. It's being efficient in what you do and how you do it. And to me, that's what separates her from the rest of the country. She's so efficient. And again, I think we've been, with her, we've been pretty, we're fundamental. I'm a fundamental guy, whether it's, ball handling, dribbling, shooting, whatever. I believe that's more important than anything you can do. And so I think for her this summer, my message has been, let's really try to develop some consistency with that three-point shot. Y'all, she's got a beautiful shot. Yes. I mean, a beautiful shot. And, here's the thing with great shooters, you don't talk about their shot. Like, you just don't mess with them. It's kind of like a quarterback, their release point, you can't get all caught up in where they're releasing it from. If it's a beautiful ball and it's where it's supposed to go, then that's what you got. And I think for her, she's got a beautiful shot. And so just, again, the kid's special. We all know that. And I think when you watch us work out right now, I think the thing that jumps out to me is not only how hard she plays, but on the defensive end too. She's, when you lose a Rory Harmon who set the tone defensively day in and day out, that's hard to replace. I mean, it's really hard to replace. But I think Madison has really, in the little bit of defensive work that we've done, and we hadn't done a lot, but her intensity is way different than everybody else. And that just comes from 3 years here and of what we do and how we do it. So again, I think she's the best in the country. Again, super efficient, and I'm proud of her.
Yeah, if she can, she has a great mid-range game. If she can take a couple steps back and hit some threes more often, that might open up a lot for a lot of people. Jerry, you have something before we let Coach go?
We had a really good question, and it's not. He asked about Maddie as a possible fifth year, and I know that's down the road for everybody with the 5-year rule now, and you have a season to play. How do you guys attack that as a staff, though, moving forward? Because that is a massive change in college athletics, I think, for the better, personally.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I just think you've got to have really good transparency. You got to have honest conversations, because just like in the pros, just like across the street, we've all got a payroll, right? And it's not endless. I know everybody thinks that Texas it is, but it ain't. We don't have some oil well out in West Texas pumping endless dollars out of the ground. And so I think you've got to have honest conversations, because if somebody's going to stay, well, that probably then eliminates some people, depending on who's staying and what their check is. It could eliminate 1, 2, or 3 people that you're recruiting. You know, and I say this all the time. This recruiting class we just signed, that's fixing to be freshmen, that class was all in a pretty elite neighborhood. These kids we're recruiting this cycle, pretty elite neighborhood. If I can't afford that neighborhood, then I need to stop recruiting in that neighborhood, and I need to go to this neighborhood. And so I think that's where people everywhere have to have these honest conversations, because you got to plan for it. And, you don't want to get yourself in a pickle where you end up signing kids and then you can't live up to what you've talked about and you've promised them. I've always been a man of my word, and whatever I say, I live by it. And so I think that's where this 5th year really comes in. And I think, again, for programs to continue, again, the only thing harder than building it is sustaining it. To sustain it, you've got to have those open and honest conversations. And unfortunately, you can't go a whole season and then figure it out at the end, because then you're losing out on a whole recruiting class. If you lose somebody at the end of the year and then you weren't able to recruit to replace them at the beginning of the year because you thought they were going to stay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we need to tell folks, Coach, you guys have a special going on right now for basketball tickets, season tickets, close to 600, only 600 left before you're sold out. And that would be the first sellout ever for the University of Texas. You got home games this season against Louisville, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas A&M. Just $100. Make sure you guys check it out. Coach Vic Schaefer, and maybe we can get you a shark chasing you one of these times.
Coach, I'm going to go do a lot.
They lower the lights in Moody, and they start playing all that music and all that. Maybe we can get a shark out there. Bevo dressed up as a shark one night.
Hey, how about this for you got walk-up songs in baseball?
Yes.
How about this for a walk out or a hustle out intro when the team hits the court? How about the Jaws? Dun 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 dun. How about that for our entrance on the court? I like it.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to give you a few months to think about it, Coach. But how about next off season? I go fishing with you once, and we video it in case we have a shark encounter. That's a great video on Texas football.
Big Daddy, I will be glad to take you, and I'll make sure we go somewhere where you got plenty of opportunity to see a shark.
I'm in.
But you're gonna have to be in the water.
I'll buy lunch and dinner for that one.
Hey, that'd be great. I think we'd have a good time. We'll catch some fish, but you're gonna see a shark now.
Jerry, the only problem with that is you're not going to have to buy dinner because you're going to catch it.
I know, that's right.
100%. 100%.
Coach, take care, man. Hook 'em horns.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys. Praise the Lord and hook 'em horns.
All right, take care now.
Coach.
Hey, Jerry, if that shark was in my bag,
oh my God,
they say Jesus is the only one to ever walk on water.
Yeah, you give it a shot.
I'd be walking on water. No, I have nothing for sharks. Nothing for sharks. Woo. Yeah, Jerry would feed. That's right. Jerry would feed the sharks corn dogs.
I would. I'd see what their diet really consists of. I'm gonna change the shark's diet.
Take a chunk out of your leg.
That sounds like a great show. I go fishing with Coach. Producer Matt goes down there, videos it, and see what happens.
Get Jordan Shipley or Bob Shipley on with you.
That'd be a great show.
You would be the fish out of water in that video, by the way.
I would be. Yeah. When I lived in Florida, I looked at the people fishing. I wasn't one of them, but I had great respect for them.
You were looking for them.
We'll get you a little kid's pole, like I buy my 7-year-old.
That's what I need. A little rubber worm on it. Perfect.
Yeah, I think we probably have one you can borrow. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Hey, every Tuesday morning's Coffee and Football brought to you by our friends over at Texas Road. Rick Vavro and the guys at Texas Road, they are your full-service solution for major road projects in and around the state of Texas and Austin city limits, with the full support of multiple crews performing utility, dirt work, concrete, and asphalt. Texas Road provides on-site concrete through volumetric trucks for smaller volumes. They're able to complete road building in a high-profile environment. Again, your full-service solution for major road projects in and around Austin, Texas. Make sure you give a shout-out to Rick Favreau and his team at Texas Road.
All right. Well, Vic
that's going to be a tough follow. Whatever we follow up with this next is going to be a tough follow.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Literally one of the funniest things in OTF history. I just thought about it last night. I was watching Shark Week. I'm going to ask Coach Schaefer if he watches Shark Week. I never thought that would be the answer. Never would have thought that's what would have ended up being the answer.
He lived Shark Week.
Yeah, he lived it.
There you go.
Oh goodness. All right, guys. Well, let's see. At the beginning of the show, I did mention that it is 39 days away. By the way, 99 days away from when the women's team tips off. So I want to mention that as well. But 39 days for football. And this one, man, this is a pretty easy one. I feel like I'm not even going to do a poll for this one because Brian Robeson is pretty much it in the last, I don't know, 70, 80 years or so. I had to go way back to find some other 39s, but I did find a couple of interesting ones. Judd Atchison, he played halfback between 35 and 37, but he ended up just being a baller at track and quit football for track. And then went on to serve in World War II. And then Lou Mickey Maine, who Jerry Dangerfield, their stadium is named after him.
Oh, wow.
Bet you didn't know that. But he also served in World War II. But he helped Texas win its first ever bowl game. But, Bobby, I'm going to let you talk about Brian a little bit.
I could definitely do that. I actually texted with Brian last week. He is gone fishing right now. So that's appropriate based on our previous conversation. But look, I go back to something that Jerry and I have often talked about when we evaluate recruits, when we talk about Brian Robeson. Brian Robeson was a 3-star. Shouldn't have been, but he was.
Yeah.
Okay. In retrospect. And the thing that I go back to when we evaluate recruits, sometimes Blake and Jerry, track stats translate.
Yeah. Brian
Robeson was one of the state's best discus and shot put throwers ever. I mean, he was among the top 5 of all time, and I know in the discus. Jerry.
Still has the record.
Yeah, and so sometimes those things don't translate, but when you're a smaller guy like Robeson was, that became bigger over time, right? Because he had the height. He wasn't necessarily he wasn't 6'5" or something. He's 6'3", 6'2", whatever. But he had the athleticism and just all of that shone through with him. And then you had him also just being such a good athlete overall, blocked a lot of kicks at the University of Texas as well. What I thought was interesting, though, of all this graphic, and we'll come back to one more, the most famous picture of Brian Robeson, I guess, in a Longhorn uniform. But look at that helmet on Jim Atchison. Did you know that the Longhorns ever had a winged helmet like that, Jerry Hamilton?
It looked like Michigan.
I know. Did you ever know they had a winged helmet?
I didn't. Bobby, where did he rank in the National Recruiting Advisor that year?
But actually, he was not. I was my dad
Bobby
was
ranking number 2.
My dad wasn't even born when Jim Atchison was playing at Texas.
Hey, so on Brian Robeson, obviously we're going to bring up the picture everybody remembers him by in a second, but I often think about the national championship game and those closing minutes of that game. And I think two of the iconic moments in my adult lifetime happened obviously when Vince crossed the goal line, but Brian's celebration after
Coming
the
off
fourth
the
down stop.
Yeah.
That is those two things from that game. Obviously, Vince crossing the goal line. Some would say the forward pitch for a touchdown or whatever Reggie Bush did for USC fans is wild to him. But Brian Robeson's, that his celebration, like it always lives in my mind on that fourth down. Like that was, it's not talked about probably enough, but that's one of the cooler celebrations and more meaningful celebrations in modern Texas football history. The other thing, Bobby, you mentioned recruiting before we get to that picture of Rhett Bomar. I've said this about Brian too. Splendora hadn't had a player in how many years? Donald Moore in the 70s. I mean, like it had been a long time. If Brian Robeson played nowadays at Atascocita and did all that in track,
Yeah.
his ranking would have been different. He came out of Splendora at a time when they hadn't had dudes and there weren't Nike camps really. Like if he had all those opportunities, it probably would have been different for him, which would have been good for him in NIL coming out of high school these days.
Well, he broke Rhett Bomar on that. He just broke him.
Wish we could play the clip.
The one thing I asked Brian one time, I go, "Did you see Rod Wright pick up the ball?" after you guys, yeah, a little bit. He goes, "But I was so happy that I just crunched the, you know what?"
Yeah.
He goes, I took care of him on that play. That was good stuff, though. That's good stuff.
By the way, the Bobby, you mentioned something with him. Maybe his most impressive thing he did at Texas was blocking 6 kicks at 6'3", 260, 255. You got to have a 40-plus vert.
Yep.
In pads with that weight added to your frame.
14 years in the NFL.
Yep.
I mean, he was the longest tenured NFL player of the 2005 national championship team.
Yep. Crazy to think about that.
Yeah, nice. Great player.
Yep. Great player.
We're glad to have him on Texas Football, by the way. He joins us when he's not coaching Little League football on Saturday afternoons with our post-game show. So incredibly happy to be work with Brian. He is a tremendous co-worker, by the way, and very he adds something in his analysis of a game that is really like Rod. When I do the post game with Rod, Jerry, you've been on with us as well. Rod is so good about the quarterback, wide receiver, DB play. He just really is. You know what I mean? He sees it. He feels it. Brian is really good with the line play and how the defensive line all work and the defensive front all works together and in some kind of unison to make things happen. So love B-Rob. Other 39s, Tyrone Jones, Texas City.
Yeah.
Montreal Estelle, East Texas product. So
look, those 4 from Texas City, Bobby, those are big recruits at the time for Mac Brown. In that first recruiting class, they won state. They were kind of some big names in the Houston area, not like Corey Redding, but that was those 4 guys going to the same schools made headlines back then.
Wow, Johnny Treadwell, I did not know was number 39. Good job, Tedapari.
Yeah, I missed that one. Thanks for the input. That's always the fun part, is going back and finding some of these guys and then still missing a whole bunch of them.
The winged helmet, that'll live. That's live. What would you do today if the Longhorns had a winged helmet? You can't even fathom it, right? Yeah,
That's crazy.
Longhorn silhouette, man. That logo is awesome.
All right, well, let's talk a little more football this morning here. And One thing we didn't get to yesterday, coming off the heels of SEC Media Days, the media poll for the all SEC preseason team. And guys, 5 Longhorns on the first team: wide receiver Cam Coleman, tackle Trevor Gooseby, Colin Simmons, and Rasheem Biles. And then Ryan Niblett gets on there as the return specialist. Second team, we had 3: quarterback Arch Manning. Ryan Niblett makes another appearance as all-purpose player, then long snapper Trey DeBuck. And then third team was running back Hollywood Smothers, Ryan Wingo, Brandon Baker, and on the defensive side, Jelani McDonald.
Bobby, I counted up, and I may be off one, guys. I did it pretty quick yesterday before the show, but 12 different guys, 12 different positions. So obviously Ryan Niblett mentioned twice. I think Texas had 12, Georgia had 12, and Oklahoma had 12, potentially 11 or 12. So I think there were 3 teams that had the most guys or positions mentioned. And obviously Texas right there with Georgia and Oklahoma on that. Somebody can count it up for me if you want. But look, Trinidad Chambliss, first team quarterback, I think very deserved going into this season. I think Trinidad Chambliss should be the number 1 quarterback preseason. And it's up to Arch, it's up to Gunnar Stockton, whoever else, hey, maybe it's Lenore Sellers of South Carolina has a bounce back season, Kamario Taylor, whoever that player ends up being, John Mateer, whoever it ends up being. It's up to those guys to take that mantle from Trinidad Chambliss this year. That I agree 100% with that. And boy, I got to tell you, we talk about all the talent in the SEC. The first through third team at running back is in the SEC is super impressive to me.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Bob.
Jerry, I talking about running back, my question there is this. If you polled the Texas coaching staff on offense at running back, would you put Hollywood Smothers above Raleek Brown? I don't know that they would agree with Hollywood Smothers being on there and Raleek Brown not.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting call because that did not. I'll just say it this much. I mean, there were several Texas media members, us included, that were there that voted on this. I didn't vote on Hollywood Smothers. I voted on Raleek Brown personally. Yeah. So am I right or wrong? I don't know. But I think, again, I still believe that a lot of these SEC votes are very Southeast specific. So they're familiar somewhat with Hollywood Smothers at NC State.
Yes.
They don't even know. Some of them don't even realize that Raleek Brown actually was more productive at Arizona State. You see what I'm saying? And I personally, I put Raleek Brown third team, not Hollywood Smothers. So, and I think it's funny, Ryan Wingo last year was second team all conference, but this year he's third team. That's kind of interesting. I mean, Ryan Niblett, if I were to disagree with somebody here, Ryan Niblett would not be second team all purpose.
I agree.
And that's not a knock on him. I think Ryan Niblett as a return specialist deserves first team. But I think that Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers are going to eat up some of that all-purpose yardage that Niblett may have gotten last year. And he didn't get a lot even.
Yeah.
So just a personal opinion. But we'll see. I have no problem with the media going out there and saying what they got, but I'll be surprised. I also will be surprised if Texas only has 2 members of the offensive line in the first 3 teams.
Yeah, that's what I was going to hit on. That'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Jordan Seaton probably needs to stop buying $50,000 handbags. Now we're getting close to practice time, but Georgia has 3 guys, their offensive line, 3 of them, and that doesn't include one other freshman that was a starter last year. They lost obviously Freeling, but Georgia's offensive line, watch out for them this year.
And somebody said Raleek Brown makes more sense as all-purpose. I agree. I voted for him there. So I think My point being is how I view Texas, or how Jerry views Texas, wasn't necessarily represented in that media vote as much as I thought it should be. Like there's no consensus around Texas because people don't know about Raleek Brown as much as they know about Hollywood Smothers. They don't know about Raleek Brown as much as they know about Ryan Niblett. And I also would say this. I mean, I'll be surprised if only one Texas defensive lineman at the end of the year gets in the first 3 teams among the defense line. Now that you look at all positions in the SEC outside of maybe quarterback, and I think defensive line is the deepest. Quarterback and wide receiver extremely deep. I think the defensive line is deep. So only Colin Simmons out of that group making the first 3 teams, can make sense, a little bit of sense. But I think by the end of it, especially if Texas has a good season, Texas will have more.
Yeah, and to your point, defensive line, I think, is easily the deepest position in this league. Jaden Woods was 3rd team.
Yep.
I think Jaden Woods may be 1st team. There's a reason Texas went after him so hard. And then you have Elijah Griffin at Georgia, who's a freshman last year, who has top 5 draft potential in 2 years. D-line is ridiculously talented. And I know we got to do ad reads. I want to answer this because it comes on the heels of just what we're talking about. Q Black with a really good question, because I brought this up with Colin Simmons on a video. Not sure if it's been asked, but if Texas didn't move to the SEC, do you think we'd have still landed Arch? Based on video, it appears as if Texas was his dream school. I'm on record. I don't think Texas would have landed Arch or Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons is
time out. He committed to Texas before Texas even announced the move to the SEC.
They all knew behind the scenes, Bobby. That was
no, they didn't.
Arch would not have gone to Texas if they were in the Big 12. No chance. And Colin Simmons was going to the SEC. He said it again. Colin Simmons always told me he was only going to play in the SEC.
Arch committed to Texas before it was known that Texas was going to the SEC.
You don't think the Mannings knew?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Neither one would. My opinion is neither one would have signed with Texas if they didn't know Texas was going to the SEC. Nobody in the Manning family had.
Fundamentally disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can disagree, but I think there are receipts there.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing, Blake Monroe.
Well, next thing is I need Jerry to let us know about Shields, one of our newest sponsors.
Yes. If you love sports and you want to work in sports, welcome to our newest sponsor for 2026, Shields. Gear inside and out. Why not get paid to share that passion? Shields All Sports is coming to Cedar Park, opening August 29th, and we're hiring part-time experts who know their stuff. From premium footwear and style to hunting gear and sporting equipment. Enjoy a schedule that fits your lifestyle, plus the best employee discount in retail. Be part of our grand opening team and join all the excitement. Apply today at shields.com/careers. Again, why not get paid to share that passion of sports?
And I need to tell everyone about our friends over at Prize Picks. We're always looking for ways to make watching games a little more fun, and that's exactly why we love Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports pick app, and honestly, it's about as simple as it gets. For player picks, all you do is choose more or less on a few player stats. You lock in your lineup, and you're ready to go. But if you're somebody who likes picking teams instead of individual players, Prize Picks has you covered there as well. You can now pick the winner, the spread, or the total on games and even fights. And Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Florida, and right here in the great state of Texas. So chances are you can jump in today. One of my favorite features is that you can follow users on the app. If you like the picks they're making, you can tell them with one click. It makes it super simple. And here's the best part. If you've never tried Prize Picks before, play your first $5 lineup, and if you win, you'll get $150 in bonus lineups. Just make sure to use code HMA when you sign up. They actually just updated this offer, so there's never been a better time to get started. And if you want what I am going with today, I'll put those picks up on the screen here. I got Aaron Nola to have more than 2.5 strikeouts and Ezekiel Duran to have more than 1.5 total bases. They've both been on a hot streak lately, so I am riding that momentum. So come follow me or make your own picks. Again, download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA. Play that first $5 lineup, and if you win, you get $150 in bonus lineups. That's Prize Picks, code HMA. Good luck to you. And as always, play smart, play responsibly, play Prize Picks.
Angel Reese, 9 offensive rebounds, no putbacks. The worst point-blank basketball player I've ever seen in my life that plays at a high level. I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing. All right, next. Never seen
an indoor Ferris wheel.
Nice. Never seen anything like it.
We got a super chat that need to get to before we go to our next segment. This one here from Tamsma. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thank you for all the great content. Longhorns ever did a week 0 abroad. Where would you like to see it played? London, Mexico City, or somewhere else? Hook 'em from San Antonio.
It's a good question.
Tough question.
Well, I mean, how about Baker's Bay in the Bahamas?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's if we're going to be selfish,
I think, look, the only person that's ever really talked about that was Steve Patterson, the former AD, who had talked about taking the Longhorn brand to Mexico City, as well as Europe at times. I don't think that's in the cards with Chris Del Conte. I wouldn't put it past him. If you've never been to Mexico City before as a tourist, I will say it's an underrated tourist destination. Like it's kind of a great place on the interior. I think that, but I think that someplace like London makes a lot more sense because there are a lot of Texas expats in London because the oil and gas business over there is huge. It's kind of the seat of energy in the UK and all of Europe. I don't know. Those are the two. I will say this much: those are the two. It's not Tokyo, or someplace like that.
No.
I think those would be the two that I would choose from. And Dublin, while I think it'd be cool to go to take in a little Guinness, and go to an Irish pub, I don't know that that fits Texas as much as London or Mexico City would. Just a personal opinion.
Y'all know where I come out. I want to dominate international recruiting in the future in football because I think it's going to ascend. I would go to Berlin. I'd love it to be in Germany, in Berlin. There's a lot of really talented up and coming. I think football is picking up in that area. I remember when I was at ESPN Under Armour, we did a camp in Cologne, Germany, which obviously wasn't where the best athletes in Germany were, but man, there's some big, strong guys that love the game over there and love contact. It was interesting how much those kids loved contact, even though they don't play a lot of football over there.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way. We're going to get to a couple more here in just a little bit. Now, Bobby, I know you had something you wanted to share that you posted over on ontexasfootball.com this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote a little article, a couple of things going on just nationwide right now, and then I want to get to the Texas part of it. One is Big Ten Media Days start today. To start it off, Ohio State announced a patch partnership. The largest of its kind thus far. JP Morgan Chase is going to give Ohio State $15 million a year for a patch on their jersey. $15 million a year is more than some stadium naming rights in professional sports, just for some edification there. So that is a huge amount of money, and some of that is going directly to NIL for Ohio State athletes. Texas has not done that at this point in time. We will see if Texas does anything. But as of right now, Texas does not have plans or did not have plans to do so. All right, that's number one. Number two is Big Ten Media Days, as I mentioned, start today. As part of that, the Save College Sports Act is, trying to live its last breath right now. They are horse trading in the Senate over this bill that would apparently push up the revenue sharing or NIL share from $20.5 million to $51.5 million. Okay. That's a lot. That's a big jump, but it's indicative of how much teams are already spending, in my opinion. They wouldn't be trying to push this agenda of going up to 51.5 unless they were already close to there across all of their sports. One important note, as we had Vic Schaefer on earlier, of that 51.5, 5 million would be earmarked just for women's sports. So men's sports would get at least 46.5 of that 51.5 million. Also need to mention this. One more thing I didn't put in the article this morning. Sean Miller is meeting with the media today. Jeff Howe, CJ Vogel will be there for us, Hank South as well. So Sean Miller, Texas basketball coach. We'll have more from him tomorrow and later today, hopefully, as well. All right, and then the last piece. Now we get to Texas, which I hope is more interesting or as interesting to you guys. A couple of weeks ago, I asked some folks who, and these are folks inside the building or around the program, et cetera, who would be a surprise on offense. And they said that fans wouldn't be thinking of. They said Emmett Mosley was the answer. Okay. Emmett Mosley, they said, might even lead the team in receptions. I've communicated that to you guys. I asked the same question, but I asked it about defense this time. And the two answers, there were actually two, Bo Masco and Justice Terry were the two I got. They'll be surprised. People would be surprised. Now, the thought process on Bo Masco was, I'm not really surprised by that. Okay. And so I said, I'm not really surprised by that. He's already penciled in as a starter. We know he had a great spring. And the response was, yeah, but he could be the best DB on the team up there with Jelani McDonald. Like, he's not just another player for us. He's a potential all-conference level player. And so that was the surprise in their estimation on Bo Masco. On Justice Terry, they said he's finally healthy, and he has more twitch than any interior guy at Texas. That doesn't mean he's the best defensive tackle, by the way. I mean, Alex January, Hero Canoe, they're your starters right now. But Justice Terry is finally healthy, and he has more twitch than his peers. So,
yeah, look, I want to add to this. I think Bo Masco is Texas' best defensive back.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's even questioned, honestly. And the reason is he could start at multiple positions at Texas. And I've heard this. That's what I've heard about. Look, he may be your best nickel, but he's playing corner. If you moved him to free, he'd be the best free. He's just a really, really good football player. And sometimes these guys, they are better than they become better players than even the guys who recruited him thought. And that's the case since he got to Texas. I think when he got to Texas, they said, okay, this could be a good 4th, 5th, 6th round type NFL draft pick. He's gone, and I'm not saying he's going to go first round. I'm not at all. But he's gone beyond that in everybody's eyes. I think Justice Terry is very interesting because he hasn't been healthy since midway through his junior year. I mean, it's just been a persistent issue. He missed games his senior year. And then he obviously missed development time last year during the season, practice time. And I'm not saying a lot, but it was hit or miss with him. Then when he got in the games, he showed some real flashes. He was practicing up until the day of the Citrus Bowl and then didn't play. So I had to have something. He had to have had another setback the day before the game because we saw him. We were there when he practiced 2 straight days. CJ and I were there, and Bobby was there for one of them. And we weren't there the whole practice, but he was taking part. And then he didn't play in the game. So he hadn't been healthy for 2+ years. So I'm very interested to see how he is as a healthy player. And the other thing with him in Planet Fitness, yes, Steve Sarcasm, that is his nickname, Planet Fitness. He came into Texas at 258 pounds. He's now plus 35. He's over 290 pounds. So he came in smaller than his listed weight. And now he's 35 pounds plus that, and he's big enough to play on the interior in the SEC.
All right. Let's see. I got a couple of super chats that we're going to get to this morning. Juan Garza, would you be able to view the team practice at the new practice facility?
Not this week, or not next week. They're going to start off up at Dennis, up near I-35. I think they'll eventually get into the practice facility around mid-August. But at that point in time, most media are kept out of those viewing sessions. So we probably won't be able to see anything until we get going again next spring. So that's just the way it is. But new practice facility is, I drove by it again yesterday. It looks like something out of a space. I don't know what to say. It's like the bottom is brick, that Texas brick, kind of burnt orange brick. And then the top of it looks like a spaceship a little bit. So it's kind of odd, but it's cool looking.
Now, one, I don't know if he's asking, like, can anybody go up and view the team practice at the?
Oh no,
that's what he's asking.
No, yeah, the practice is not open to the general public.
I know I'm going to be there. I just didn't want to comment. Now y'all made me comment. Yes, I'll be there.
Jerry's going to have his telescope trying to peer in through one of the open beams.
I'm going to be the slightly overweight guy on the drone.
Just stop your car on top of I-35.
Yeah,
and just view from there.
Michael Williams with the super chat. What's one thing you're looking for in the first couple of games you feel will dictate how the season will go?
Cohesion on offensive line, cohesion in the secondary are two big ones for me, particularly when you have – look, Texas out of the gate has 3 really good quarterbacks that they face and 3 accomplished quarterbacks, not just good. Brad Jackson is a good quarterback at Texas State. Athletic. I mean, he poses problems that maybe only Trinidad Chambliss and John Mateer might pose. And Sam Levitt. He's that type of quarterback where he can move around and throw it. He's got 2,000-yard receivers coming back. That's at Texas State. Then you play Julian Sayin, who's one of the more accurate quarterbacks. Julian Sayin, frankly, is like Quinn Ewers, but Julian Sayin had a better offensive line. And so he didn't get – I mean, if Quinn Ewers could just sit back there and have people kept away from him for, 5 seconds, that's Julian Sayin. He can deliver it. And then the McCown kid out of UTSA, very accomplished, 3-year starter now. So defensive secondary, so that leads into my answer. The cohesion of the defensive secondary paired with the pass rush at Texas. Okay, that is going to be tested out of the gate. If it falters, not just gets tested, like they're going to get tested, but if it falters, that's a problem. That is a major problem if it falters. Because then I think you could literally be out of the playoffs before you get into the season. And like last year, pressure you to win every game from Oklahoma on. So I think that's part of it. The other one is the offensive line cohesion. They've got to give Arch more time. They've got to allow for some running lanes. That's my opinion.
Mine is disciplined football, number one. I mean, Sark, man, I'm a dead horse on this one for sure. But is disciplined football not beating yourself? I mean, you've had all off season. It's been a point of emphasis. Sark said it was the first thing he talked to the team about when they came back in January. It's that not beating yourselves. Not third and 2 against Ohio State. You got to drive and you get a hold. And it's 3rd and 12, then you punt it. It's disciplined football and giving yourself every opportunity to win these tight games in these really tough games, because there's going to be a lot of them this season. That's number one for me. Do not show signs of a team that was similar to the one last year that would beat themselves a little bit. That dog won't hunt on this schedule. No chance.
And we're going to get some more of y'all's questions here in just a moment. But first, Bobby, I need you to tell everyone about Warby Parker.
I can do it. I actually wear Warby Parkers. I don't know if you guys have seen me wear glasses, but whenever I'm off air, I have to wear the glasses because I'm an old man, and it's just the way it is. The great thing about Warby Parker is they have like no slip nose pad to help keep the frame from slipping down. I can wear them any time of the day, anywhere, morning, noon, night, etc. And guess what? I'm not alone in pitching Warby Parker for you Texas faithful. Arch Manning partnered with Warby Parker. He's worn the glasses since he was a kid and has actually been wearing Warby Parker frames for years. So it's one of those partnerships that it feels pretty authentic here for us on Texas Football as well. The other thing I would say to you is they have progressive lenses as well that I need. They also have sunglasses that are absolutely fantastic. Got a pair of those. Blocks 100% of UVA and UVB rays. Advanced polarization to reduce horizontal glare. Scratch resistant. And they also have even a wraparound design too. Eyewear that's made to move with you. Right now, buy one pair of Warby Parker glasses and get 20% off any additional pairs at warbyparker.com/on-Texas. That's 20% off any additional pairs when you purchase one pair at warbyparker.com/on-Texas. Remember, can't go wrong if Bobby Burton and Arch Manning wear Warby Parkers. Yeah.
More importantly, Bobby.
Where's your commercial, Bobby?
Hey. That's more like it. Me or him? I mean, come on. Who would you rather have be the face of? Yeah.
No brainer.
Yeah, I've got a face for radio. That's fair game. Now, Arch Manning, he's doing pretty well for himself as a quarterback at the University of Texas, Jerry Hamilton.
Oh, by the way, all these NIL evaluations are way under. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, I think that his has to do with rev share because he did take less. But
I get
the
it.
other stuff is under, correct.
Yeah, whenever I see all these people putting out his NIL evaluation, like, I mean, you recalibrate what you're doing because you're wrong. How about that?
Got some clarification, by the way, on one super chat about will you be able to view the team practice at the new practice facility? He actually meant the media. Will they be able?
No, there's only two times, usually in the fall, and I can't say that they're going to do this for sure because Sark can change it up at his proclivity, and so can John Bianco. Usually we get around 2 open practices that aren't fully open for the whole time. They're about 15 to 30-minute sessions each time, and they're usually the first 2 of the year before they get down to brass tacks and really get going and that sort of thing.
We got one other super chat this morning. This one from Michael Schuler. Thank you, Michael. Over under 39.5 sacks this season. He had 23 even last year.
I would think they're going to be higher than that.
They had 41 last year as a team.
Yeah, I would think maybe is that given? It's not given up, is it? I personally think that Texas should be above 40 this year. I think not only is Colin Simmons part of the reason for that and his excellence, I just think Will Muschamp's a little more aggressive point blank. And I think he's going to man people up.
Yeah.
A lot more, maybe, at the line of scrimmage. Cause a little hesitation. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, I was just looking at last year's numbers. I mean, look, Brad Spence had 3 sacks. He was underutilized by PK. I think he's a sleeper to be the second best pass rusher. Obviously, Colin had 12. He'll probably be in that 12, 13, 14 neighborhood type area. If he goes beyond 15, he's had a crazy year. But you look at it, Zena and Lance had 2 each last year. If we're looking at the end of the season and they only had 2 each, we'd all be very surprised at that number. Like Ethan Burke had 3 last year and Trey Moore had 3 last year. I think I'm betting Lance Jackson and Zena combined for more than 6. So I think we're going to see 40 plus out of Texas this year. And remember Rasheem Biles, Anthony had 4 last year. Biles will put up 4 to 5 to 6 himself in that scheme.
By the way, Ethan Burke, you just mentioned Ethan Burke. I was texting with somebody about him separately. He's up at Baltimore right now in the Ravens camp.
Yeah.
And I forgot, I wanted to mention that today. I was texting with somebody about him yesterday.
I think David Rawls says 50 sacks. I think if Texas gets 50 sacks, that means they played in the playoff game. That would be good. That'd be a good number.
Juan Garza, and with another super chat, appreciate you as always, Juan. He says, I feel bad for the Aggies not getting to flip John Meredith. Not hook 'em.
Yeah, that you talk about things that are underrated in the John Meredith recruitment and him enrolling early, Jerry. Yes, he gets going in his tenure at Texas. If we get a chance to see him in that first practice, there will definitely be some eyes on him. When we get a chance to see him, hopefully. But I would say this: the underrated aspect is that his recruitment's over.
Yeah,
he's a Texas Longhorn now.
Yeah.
And so rather than prolonging this and something happens in November or September or whenever, he's now a Longhorn, and you move on. We had a question yesterday, what it did, and I don't know that we ever got to it. What it does, the effect that Meredith had on the final rankings of the 2026 class vis-a-vis the 2027 class where it was in. So basically, the 2026 class, because they've now added him, moved up in some rankings to number 6 in the country, and the 2027 class moved down, I believe, to number 6 in the country.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I wanted to clarify that because I saw that question yesterday. I'm not sure we gave the answer.
So while we're on that, I'm going to hit a couple of, I call it recruiting speed dating. So we're going to hit this. Landon Williams-Callis, again, announcing in the afternoon of August 1st. We've heard nothing different in the last 24 hours. We still feel good about Texas. Things can always change. It's Tuesday. That announcement is Saturday. Also, happy early birthday to Easton Royal tomorrow on the 29th. Then somebody asked about Beckham Black. I'm going to keep you guys updated on him because he's the number 1 or 2 basketball player in America now that Marcus Spears reclassed to 26 and is working out at Texas and doing very well, I might add. I'm sure Sean Miller will comment on that later. But Beckham Black has his OV set to Texas for Ohio State weekend. We put that out a few weeks ago. He'll visit USC. Duke will be in it. North Carolina will be in it. Arkansas will be in it. But Texas is resonating more with Beckham Black. But his recruitment, for those wondering, it's not just these basketball recruitments aren't just cut and dry. Hey, he likes Texas. His friends are going there. He's a point guard that wants to play 30 minutes a game as a freshman. So the situation is going to be huge in his recruitment more than NIL. That's going to be great wherever he goes. It's that situation. Where can he go play 30 and go to the NBA after 1 year?
Landon Williams-Callis still Saturday, correct, Jerry?
Yep.
This one.
Yep. Afternoon. I think it's around 4, but I don't think they've actually put it out yet. I think it's going to be that mid-afternoon, though. But don't take it and run with Jerry said that. Let them announce because they have not announced the time yet, to my knowledge.
All right, we got time for just a couple of more questions here. Let's take this one from Marco Mendez, since you mentioned Burke. Is Ethan Burke the player the team will miss the most this season?
I don't
I'd like to
know.
have DJ Campbell back. I'd like to have DJ Campbell back. I'll just put that out there.
It's not fair to throw Anthony Hill out there and say, hey, in Muschamp scheme.
You can't
That's too
say that.
easy. That's
Anthony
too easy.
Hill's, yeah, he was gone. His 3 years were up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tame a lion, you know.
I do think the one thing, and I'm not saying they're the same, but I do think Barron Sorrell was missed more as a football player.
Last year?
Yeah. Yeah, it's his consistency, that toughness, that leadership. That guy was missed more than people we probably wanted to give it credit for, I think, last year. Mason Shipley. Boy, there's your answer. I should have come up with that. Great answer. Until Spedick. Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely Mason Shipley. Anytime you have a field goal that doesn't miss between a kicker that doesn't miss between 30 and 49 in a year, that's very rare. So it may be him. Honestly, we'll see.
Yeah, even though Bomeister's going to be the one that makes the pros for sure.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Somebody threw a recruiting question out there. I did want to answer. Certified realtor. Where does Texas stand with USC commit Honor Falabe Johnson? I mean, it would take a lot for that guy to make a move. He has got a really strong NIL deal at USC.
I just want to say this.
Texas will keep hanging around the rim, but it's going to take a lot.
I want to say this. There are people Texas is staying in contact with this guy, and they're acting like it's breaking news. Okay, it's not. I mean, they're number one edge in the country. Texas is staying in contact with. Breaking news.
Yeah.
They're
Miami and Tennessee and everybody else in Georgia.
That's my point. Realize, guys, that's how Texas has worked under Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
And Brandon Harris and Chris Gilbert. Those guys don't take no for an answer just because. That being said, if we think there starts to be something coming of it, we will bring it to you. You agree with that, Jerry?
Yeah.
So there's a reason we don't talk about that young man. And it's because he's shown no proclivity whatsoever, even by taking a phone call to come off his USC commitment at this point. None. And so just be aware of that. Don't be suckered into, we're still talking to XYZ. Yeah. So is, to Jerry's point, Ohio State, Georgia, Florida, Notre Dame.
And obviously, we're talking about DJ Jacobs there. Look,
yeah.
One of the things I say about these guys, see if they show up to a game in Austin this season.
And then it gets real.
Remember,
like Justice Terry.
Justice Terry showed up to a game, his only visit to Texas. He showed up to a game during the season. And Bobby, that goes back to the Meredith thing, by the way. The funny thing with A&M and Meredith was, we had said our source was 100% on that Meredith was going to stay in state and play college football. I think the thing with Texas, it wasn't really A&M. If John Meredith had gone to Chaminade, Madonna his senior season or somewhere in South Florida, while I believe he still, because mom and fam would have stayed in the state, that kid would have been at Miami for practices with teammates, games. It's an easy drive. It was really Miami, if he had been in South Florida all season, that would have worried Texas more than A&M because just the scenario changed.
Yeah, my point though sticks. Unless we bring somebody up to you guys and that's going to visit Texas, to Jerry's point, just realize that there's a lot to be done there. A lot.
All right, Bobby, before we get to our last question of the day, I need you to tell everyone about Texas Road one last time.
I can do it. Rick Valro and his guys over at Texas Road, they're the full service solution for major road projects in and around Austin with the full support of multiple crews performing utility, dirt work, concrete, and asphalt. Texas Road provides on-site concrete through volumetric trucks for smaller volumes. They're able to complete road building in a high-profile environment. And I will say this, make sure you check out the Lone Star Bar over in Jonestown, Texas, near the lake. Rick is a entrepreneur, and he loves cold beer. 27-degree beer coming out of those fridges at the Lone Star Bar. Perfect once you get off the lake. Again, that's Texas Road, your first full-service solution for major road projects. And if you're out and about, make sure you check out our friends over at Lone Star Bar in Jonestown.
Blake, I want to bring something up. Dave actually asked about the HR implosion at North Carolina, Lombard. I haven't kept up with that, honestly. If that show ever makes it to Bravo, I'll definitely watch it, though. Because it should. That should be a Bravo show.
Well,
Hey, speaking of
the whole thing is with the girlfriend and the the whole thing is. But Jerry, to Jerry's point, Mike Lombardi, former NFL GM, was also I believe either worked for ESPN or NFL Network. I can't remember which, maybe both during his time. Was put on indefinite leave. Lombardi made no friends with the media, by the way. Some people have really piled on this situation. He's been put on indefinite leave by the university, apparently, according to a report, for conduct with a former staffer. They didn't say what kind of conduct, so that leaves us all to believe, whatever it could be. But there's this idea that he came into college football, and this is where I have always been on this side of it. He came into college football and famously said North Carolina was going to be the 33rd NFL team with him and Bill Belichick. He got a $1.5 million contract, and all he's succeeded in doing is falling on his face. Okay? This is what I tried to say when that hire was made. Okay? Recruiting in NIL is different than straight salary cap negotiations.
And kids don't care about who you are anymore.
No, well, my point being that I'm trying to get at with y'all is that Brandon Harris is much better at his job because he's been in the college game. He understands it's still recruiting with a mix of NIL. It's not just, oh, I've got this paycheck. Come get coached by Coach Belichick. There's a personal element to recruiting that, no offense to Jim Nagy. I mean, he thinks it's all NFL too. Like it's all transactional. It's not. He almost lost David Stone last year because he treated it transactional. It took other players on that team to bring David Stone out of the transfer portal. The world is not that transactional. And so I think, my personal opinion, this just shows that the move from the NFL to college down, perceptively down, coming down from the pro ranks to college is somehow they have more intelligence, or they may, but they don't have the personality mix that you need, that you understand. Look, I don't get to draft players in college. I have to recruit them. In the NFL, you just get assigned players, essentially. That's not how college football works. And that part of the GM role, I think university presidents and guys like that get all excited about having a more structured this or that. Texas has got one of the most talented rosters in the country because Steve Sarkisian and Brandon Harris have made it that way. And all of the assistants involved, et cetera.
I want to add that I think there's a thought when they came in that kids would just come there because of Bill Belichick's name and what he did. And that doesn't matter to these kids anymore. That doesn't matter. Look, look at Bill Self at Kansas in basketball. They're not the same level they were. That means he can't go win. Kids don't care about that. Now they care about development combined with NIL. But just because your name is somewhere at a university, these kids don't run to that. They're different nowadays. Recruiting has changed. So that's a big piece of this stuff too. It's not, hey man, I had Tom Brady and won 6 NFL, 6 Super Bowls. Kids don't care. That's not what this is about.
All right, guys, we will do one last question here. This one from Crystal and CJ Robinson. Do we know who's faster, Smothers or Brown?
Do we know that, Jerry?
Brown will probably put up a better combine time because he's going to be more explosive in the 10.
Hey, I would say Brown maybe
Brown had better track
40.
times.
Yeah, Brown faster 40, Smothers maybe a faster 100.
Yeah.
That would be maybe my thought process. But I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
That's something that we can maybe ask.
All right, y'all. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Coffee and Football presented by Texas Road. We want to thank Texas Road along with Warby Parker, Shields, and Prize Picks, all for sponsoring today's show. Shout out to Vic Schaefer for joining us at the beginning of Coffee and Football. If you missed that, make sure to rewind and catch it because he had some great stories as always, including a phenomenal shark story. But Bobby, what do you have for folks later today?
Recruiting breakdown coming up in a little bit. We also have Sean Miller, the Texas basketball coach, going to be meeting with the media. Then we have another live stream tonight. Rod Babers, I believe, on with the guys. Jeff Howe, CJ Vogel. Guys, make sure you check us out over at ontexasfootball.com. We're pumping out a lot of content right now. Also, welcomed some new people to the message board yesterday. Always fun to visit with you guys. Outside of just these live shows that we do every morning and evening. So give us a chance over at ontexasfootball.com. Hank and CJ cranking out content, as well as myself and Jerry, Blake with some baseball stuff every so often. Having a lot of fun. Jordan Scruggs, Jeff Howe. It's a good time. Come join us.
Great community, for sure. Well, we hope you all have an outstanding day today. Of course, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you then.
Hook 'em horns.